I'm going to carry on with the demos of drawing features. So it's part of the portrait project that a lot of us are working on. We've got Elaine starting with us today. And as ever, the projects are purely optional if you wanted to have a go at this. So I'll do two very quick demos. And I'm going to be having a go at drawing lips. I'll do one with pencils and one with a bit of paint. And then I was also, if with the lino cutting project, I'll bring that back in a couple of weeks' time for those of you that want to carry on with that. Okay, so I've just picked a couple of photos at random. I think I'll go with this one to start with. You can see that all right. So with drawing features, I'm thinking I'll draw about there. His face is at a little bit of an angle, sort of something a bit like that. And so his mouth is just very slightly tilting down. Pick up the wet paintbrushes. So once I've got that, I tend to like to start with, to be honest, it varies. Sometimes I'll start with the top of the top lip shape, that little bow shape, but other times I find this, where the two lips meet, is quite a useful point to start. So if I start there, and we're seeing more of this side of his mouth, because we've got more of a three-quarter view, we're seeing a lot more of that side than we are this side. I'm thinking the middle of his mouth can be about here, and perhaps I'll draw between about here and here. So just a couple of kind of lines just to set things out. So where his lips meet, it's going along a little bit, just up a tiny bit, and it's really just trying to follow that shape and that edge. So that can be that kind of something a little bit like that, I think. About here would be the middle, and I would then draw this little bow shape that we've got here. Kind of a little dark shape for his top, and then it's then quite a straight line down to there, and then on this side it's pretty much the same, quite a straight line, and these will vary quite a bit from person to person. You'll find that some people have got quite curved shapes, but his is quite straight. And then his bottom lip is a lot wider than his top lip, and it almost seems slightly wider in the corner here. I'll just go a tiny bit wider there, and then follow that shape along. And then when it gets to about here, it then just goes up quite steeply there. Whereas this side, yeah, it goes up, but it's not quite such a steep shape. Quite often you'll find that people's top lips are in a little bit more shadow, because most of the lights are coming from above. So you want a little bit of shadow in here, like that. And again, quite often you'll find that they're a little bit more shadow in the corner of the lips than they are in the middle. So it's just when that's dark again. So, and I think that is just about the case here, just very slightly darker there, maybe a little bit darker there. His bottom lip, there's a little bit of shadow there, but it's probably catching more light. In this case, perhaps just a little bit of tone there. But there's also shadows underneath the lip, so that's quite important to get those in. So that'll go into shadow under here. So something a little bit like that, and make that a bit darker. And a tiny bit more shadow there. Yeah, so that helps to give you a sense of like form and tone modelling. So that's how the approach with pencil, pretty much the same with paint. Board. That was this morning's one. I'll find another picture. That's this little girl's lips. And really, with the paint, I'm not going to worry too much about colour. Just use a couple of browns, maybe a little bit of black. So mostly sort of tonal painting. And I'll really pretty much approach it in the same sort of way. Thinking if I'm painting about here, her face is, or head is very slightly tilted this way, and mouth going that way. So that's roughly where I want to work. I'll probably am inclined to just get the top lip shape in. And for me, I find it just really just as easy to use a brush as I do a pencil, to be honest. So that can be the top lip shape. The nice thing about the brush is it's very easy to make adjustments. I can wipe little bits out on my finger. I think the corner of a mouth is something like that. And then her bottom lip goes up like that. And there, pop a little bit of shadow in there. Soften it out a little bit with my finger. A bit of shadow there. A bit darker in the corners. A little bit black. Get that darker. And then again, we've got quite a strong shadow underneath the lips, and that really helps to give a sense of the shapes, give a sense of volume really. Something like that, and just wipe that back and just pick up a little bit of light. So a little bit of reflection just here, so we're just reflecting a little bit of light off the bottom lip. Something like that. I think actually maybe a tiny bit more, that tiny bit more reflection or shadow just there. Just looks like it dips down a tiny bit. So far that's just a little brush like that. Occasionally I use these little tiny ones too. So if we just wanted a sharper line, just where her lips actually just meet, I can just get going with a sable brush. Should be sufficient just to darken that edge a little bit. That's pretty much how I do the same sort of thing with paint. So this is just a water mix full of oil paints.
You haven't done teeth.
Teeth? No, avoid the teeth.
But sensible.
Yeah, teeth. I definitely avoid teeth. Teeth are hard. I mean, somebody like that.
Yeah.
What would you do? God, I don't know. I think I'm not. To be honest, I've virtually hardly ever painted teeth, apart from photos. I've brought a few pictures in, so something like this one and this one were painted from models, so people sitting for a couple of hours, so they don't sit smiling really. It's probably if you work in photograph. Probably could get some sort of shapes in here, sort of a T-shape. I'd almost like to sort of treat them as one whole thing. Yeah. Just kind of get something in there, and then try and stick everything in there. You could then paint sort of down to the paint into those, almost like the shapes of the gums around them. But what I'd be really careful at is making them very sharp, dark lines between the teeth, almost like just a very slight suggestion is enough. But it's more like the shapes underneath and above. So you can see that starting to emerge, like these sort of darker shapes under here. And then you might just have that just nicking in a tiny bit, and then across here, and then perhaps just up a tiny bit. It's almost sort of like the shapes around the teeth.
Yeah.
Around the teeth, and then the same from above. And then and dark shadows in the corners. And then it will gradually start to look like a smiling. I think that the more you can kind of leave that a little bit blurry, the better, because to be honest, it doesn't look convincing on a painting showing teeth, because people just can't see it.
No.
But it looks like you painted a photograph.
Yeah.
So if you can find some sort of way of interpreting a smile as that, you know, toothy smile in a painting without it looking frozen, that's the challenge.
Thank you.
Okay, yep.